a few more minutes. Everyone almost done? Yes. Okay, so now look at those 3 rights that you just chose. And I need you to choose the one that you're going to give to me. So you're going to give one of those away.
Give it to you because we're not going to have it anymore?
You will not have it anymore.
I need you ladies to speak up. I can't hear you.
You'll choose one of those 3 rights to
Give up.
to give away. So you're gonna well, you guys won't hand them to me. Obviously, you'll just set it to the side.
Okay.
There.
I don't like that.
I'm not gonna take it. Okay, so how did that feel? To give away one of your top 3 personal rights.
It sucked.
What do you mean by it sucked?
I don't want to give those up. I had to choose 3. I had to give up 13 already.
Okay. Other thoughts?
I couldn't choose.
How did you choose? Because you handed me one.
I did, yeah. I thought maybe I'd be able to take it back.
Hesitantly handed.
Yeah.
How anyone else felt? Hesitant about giving up that right? Okay. So, between the 2 you have,
Oh no.
pick one you want to keep. And you're going to keep that one. Yes, you do.
So we're giving you the one we don't see.
I have to think. Yep. You choose the one you want to keep. Everyone? Oh. Okay. So this is the hard part. So with the one you kept, think through what fear drove you to keep the one that you kept versus the
Again,
other.
you need to repeat that.
Oh, sorry. I did that fantasy going. Whoa. So what I said, the one you kept, what fear drove you to keep the one that you kept? What fear was or is?
You want to write it down or just think of it?
I think you see it.
All right. So, who would like to share their fear that they have, or their basic right?
I'll share my right.
Okay.
I chose to keep the right to love or be loved and be accepted as a person in spite of unacceptable behavior.
So, what was your fear that drove that?
I think I'm afraid. I think I'm afraid of being loved and to be loved, and I think that's why I push people away. And I think that's why, like I said tonight, what was your question? What do we want? What skill do we want? And mine was to is acceptance, because I want to be able to accept myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what did you give up?
Like what ones did I write down?
Mm-hmm.
The right to be myself and something about honestly. I wrote the word honestly. I don't know. Number 2, the right to spontaneously and honestly express feelings, thoughts, and opinions, and exercise rights without denying the rights of others.
So how did you make that decision to let one of those go instead of the right to be loved? What's the determining factor?
I already feel like I'm really spontaneous and honest. I'm not afraid of that. It's easy for me to tell people how I feel, if it's positive at least. I don't know.
Anyone else relate to the idea of I wasn't afraid because I'm already that way versus I kept because of fear?
I
Share that.
I also kept the right to love, be loved, and be accepted, in spite of unacceptable behavior, because, I mean, my behavior, what got my kids, because I told you about my kids, that was my fear, and what got them taken away was a drug addiction. Well, not taken away, I sent them away. It was drug addiction, going through a divorce, and a lot of it was my personal behavior. You know, drugs are not something that people should be doing, you know, it's unacceptable. But, so that's my big fear, is that nobody's gonna love me if I mess up, you know, and, especially my kids. So that's a huge, huge thing to me, and I could give up just about anything else, but I need somebody to love me, you know? Nobody wants to spend their life alone, unloved, and I gave up the right to be myself, because just because I don't have the right doesn't mean I'm not gonna do it. And then I also gave up the right to defend myself and keep people from taking what's mine and stand up for my rights, because I'm gonna do that anyway, that's just who I am. But this is a big, big thing for me that it's really, to me, it's scary, because if that's not there, you know, I can be myself, I can be all that stuff, but I need other people, you know, I need people in my life.
So one thing I kind of noticed with you two sharing that same one is there seems to be that self-doubt, or that you're worth love, right? And so it's interesting how that plays into the thing that you don't see in yourself, you want to keep that, right? And that's kind of where, you know, to be aware of maybe some, like, this is my counselor, addiction counselor talking, but some codependent behaviors, right? When we start to see our needs in other people, or our value in other people. And so it's interesting that you both shared that when, you know, you struggle with loving yourself, essentially. So how are you going to work on that?
Stop the unacceptable behavior.
So hold on to that question. I just want to give a quick feedback. I really like that you guys are listening to what Nikisha just did. She used 3 techniques as a facilitator. She used the, can anyone name the 3?
Linking.
Good. And? Waveling, reflection. Very good. And?
Questioning.
And?
Questioning and clarification.
Questioning and clarification, she didn't ask. Well, ask
Yeah,
towards
she
the
said, what are you
end.
going to do?
Yes, the last one, but before.
Is she summarizing a little bit what they?
When she mentioned that this is my codependence, when she mentioned that this is my. Yeah, good, but no. Meaning that wasn't what I had thought.
Okay.
Meaning lecturing. Did you
Oh,
know
like
what
bringing
lecturing?
in other
Yes,
information.
bringing in
Yeah.
other so psychoeducation. So she mentioned codependence, and then she taught a little about what codependence is. So that is mini lecture. So very well done. So not that you guys are not doing good, but I just wanted to point out that these are what I will be checking and writing down. So use those techniques. You too also, whenever you're mentioning or writing, facilitating, you have to make sure that you are going through all those qualities of leading. All right, now back to our question, if you still remember.
What am I going to do about it? I have absolutely no idea. None. Yep.
So what do you feel like you can do in the next week? So short term.
So that I'm not so codependent.
In one week that you can work on the fear of, it sounds like not being loved, fear of not being worthy to be loved. Any of those?
Yep, I have no
I
idea.
mean,
Do you want to handle this one? I would say just I could talk to the people that actually love me, for one. Like I don't have a lot of friends. I do that on purpose, because the divorce taught me that I didn't have a lot of true friends. I thought I did, but I didn't. So that means talking to, like, you know, just remind myself, like, my kids do love me, my boyfriend loves me, my ex-husband loves me, you know, not that way, but, you know, he loves me. And my parents, you know, that I have a support system and stuff, and sometimes they're just so far away, sometimes I forget that they still love me and worry about me and all that kind of
you
stuff.
have to
so.
acknowledge the ones who are there and look for
Yeah,
other
exactly.
things. Okay. Who else?
I think it brings up a really good point that you kind of mentioned, is to identify what it means to love somebody. Right? A lot of the time we say we want to be happy, we want to feel loved, but have we sat down and defined that for ourselves? So if I'm looking at what does it mean to be loved, would that be a good place to start? So you've got some tears in your eyes, Amy. What's going on right here?
I don't know. I wasn't really expecting this, so that makes me angry. I don't know. I feel like I'm running away at the moment in my life from like being loved, and I'm like pushing people out, and I'm like really like in a state where I'm unsure if like I'm doing the right thing, like if I'm doing it for myself, or if I'm just being selfish, or if I'm scared and I'm so unsure. But like, I need to know that I have the right, I guess, to be loved and to be accepted, even if my choice is like to not be loved.
I think it comes down to a sense of control too, like having that control over essentially if other people are allowed to love you, you know, and you being able to dictate, like, I don't have to show you love, but I have the right to receive love from you.
Feeling out of control in other parts of your life. That part of the things you consider. Who else? Who else discovered the right that they would keep and the fear that drove it?
I had the same right that I
I have a
kept.
question. Did everybody in the group share with their what they were gonna keep?
No.
Oh,
Nope, just the first two.
They just volunteered. So that is how what happens in the group therapy or in the session, that the facilitators ask for volunteers. Whoever has this urge or ability or whatever to share, and then the facilitators, they keep on asking and sharing, and then if there is one person who's really quiet, then the facilitator asks them, what do you think, you know. And in this case, I still hear sniffling and the tears are still there, so that thing is not resolved. So would it be alright to move on, or shall we just stay there, or are there any allies of the facilitators who should ask something? So go ahead and remember that the counselor or the therapist does not give advice. So we need to make sure that the person is alright.
So I have a question with that.
Yep.
I've kind of been taught two different ways that if someone should be seen that she needs to breathe, and so to kind of see if someone else wants to speak and then go back to that one.
That's exactly what I
So,
would have
but then I've also been taught that like you don't want to leave when that emotion's happening,
Yes.
and so it's confusing sometimes.
So what do you think should be the solution?
In
If
this
you don't
particular
understand, in any situation, if you don't understand what is right, what is wrong, what should you do?
Ask her.
Good.
Say,
Ask
do you
her.
need a
She's
minute to
right
breathe?
there. Ask her. Confrontation.
She's like, I need a moment. Would you
I
like to
did.
continue
I'm
on?
alright now. I really needed a moment. Yeah.
So always ask. There are, just like what you were taught, there are two different types of people also. Ones who do need a moment, and the others who don't want to be left alone. Because when you come into emotions, now that is her dilemma. How do you know that she's speaking the truth? She just said that I push people away. But that is my need. I have the right to be loved. But when I am loved, I push them away. So now you're asking her, do you need a breathing room? And she's pushing you away. Yes, go away. I do. How do you know that you can trust her? Because she just admitted that I don't want it. I just need the right. So,
That's the option.
what is your How do we know that we can trust you?
Well, I don't know now. I don't know if I can trust
Okay, but always just ask.
The one
And
I'm talking about, the love, the right to be loved. What is your name?
what is your name?
Haley.
Haley?
Mhm.
Is that it? I thought you were going to do something, Shirley.
Well, I don't know if she introduced herself, but it's kind of hard for me to relate, and I can't see her to try to make a connection with what she was saying. Because the whole time she was sharing, I couldn't see her, so I couldn't see her body movements, I couldn't see her facial expressions. So for me, there's no way that I could possibly contribute to the group without having seen her. Just saying.
Yes. So that's the hybrid class and attendance.
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Good. We can move on.
Okay, so what we would like you to do is to close your eyes and imagine what your fear looks like. Just take a couple minutes. It can be a creature, or maybe it's a place. Maybe it's a sound or a smell. But just
What
imagine.
does it feel like?
Yeah.
Look like? Smell
So think about confronting that fear now. What do you feel like? Is your heart racing? Are your hands clenched? Is it hard to think?
And then imagine your life, what your life looks like without that fear. Is it easy to let go of that fear? Or is it hard?
So now open your eyes and look at the right that you kept. Does that right help you work on that fear? And is there a way, kind of in this next week, that you can use either that you're gonna exercise that right, or a way that in this next week that you can work on letting go of the fear? And you can share that if you'd like. What your goal is for the next week.
I think my goal with exercising the right to love, be loved, and be accepted as a person in spite of unacceptable behavior would be trying to be more present. That quote, or maybe it's like Shakespeare's, the loved and lost thing. Better to have loved and lost than never to love at all. That's what I keep thinking. Is I'm like, okay, so it would hurt and it would be horrible to not be loved and to not love and to not have the people that I love. But why am I letting that rob me of this moment right now, you know, with my loved ones? And so trying to be more present in that and be thankful for the time that I have instead of kind of fearing this scary thing out there.
Great connection between that right
kind
and
of
the fear.
made me well, I thought I picked love because it was all fuzzy and warm, but then when I heard them talking about it, I was like, oh, I totally picked it out of fear too. Like, because that feels like the worst thing ever to me. You know, to not have love in your life, right? I mean, it feels empty and cold and scary. A little bit like it is outside picture, which is where I'm at right now. So yeah, I think being more present and grateful and really trying to enjoy the love that I have in my life right now instead of fearing I will lose it would be one way I could work on that.
Okay. Who else would like to share?
Was that Haley talking just now?
Me, Chelsea.
No. Okay. Taking my notes.
Right half of the room. Would any of you like to share?
I had more of a realization that, like through this, that I thought my fear was more based in like a place of getting stuck in life and not being able to like progress as a person to where I want to progress to. But like through this, I chose to keep the right to make decisions for myself, whether logical or illogical. I guess I realized that I'm more afraid of losing my independence and becoming dependent on others and becoming dependent in situations that would make me feel stuck or trapped. But I don't really know how to go about that this week because my life forces me to be so independent. Like I don't really have many people that I could, become more dependent on. And so I don't really know how I would change that this week unless maybe just being more open to the idea of being, like asking for help or something like that. I don't know.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Do you struggle with trusting people?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then asking for help and trusting, I think, go hand in hand.
Definitely.
Especially if we fear being dependent. Like if I ask for help, or think about trusting someone, what if I depend on them fully?
Yeah.
We think that really far end of the spectrum. And so I think asking for help is a great goal to honestly exercise the fear or the right.
Yeah.
Knowing you can keep your independence without being alone. You can ask for help, you can get, close to others and be independent.
Cool.
So now ask Thea or Brittany their opinion about what you just said. What do they think?
What do you think? What do you think about what I just said? About the part of how we can work on trusting and work on asking for help, and that doesn't mean we're necessarily going to become dependent on someone.
I think it just starts with asking for help starts with the trust. So it would be like, do I trust this person to help me with that journey? Like finding allies along the way that you can be vulnerable with.
So you ask Brittany.
So Brittany, did you connect with what Taya just had to say?
Absolutely. Yeah. That was a close-ended question. Ask it open-ended. She's already a quiet person, hasn't contributed anything today. And then when you ask the close-ended, remember the video last time I showed you? And the person just said yes, the shy person. So ask an open-ended question so she talks. And then checking in on her, the one pushing you away, you can also come back and ask her if she's still present in the group, and all three peers should focus on her also. Is she doing good? And then one of the allies or your three facilitators, so one of you will towards the end go and ask her. Okay. And then remind me of her name. Jennifer. Again, she's been quiet, so everyone needs to be involved in anything and everything, asking their opinion.
So Brittany, do you have any ideas on how Lexi could focus on her independence or on her trust this week?
I think as people, that's what we do. We kind of like rely on each other no matter what. It takes a village, maybe is a better way to put it, with all of us. I think we need people. And, like focusing on your independence, I think that's how you define your independence. It's not anybody else's definition of it. So, that's where I go with that.
Very good. What I loved about it was your eye contact with her. Instead of looking at Stephanie, you made an eye contact with her. So that was very good.
Jen, what ways did you identify with what was said about trusting or asking for help?
My mind was actually wandering a little bit because you had said something. I actually kept the same right as Lexi, the right to make decisions for myself. But I think it was for a completely different reason, and I didn't even realize it until you said something about control. And I think mine is more that than trust. And so, as I was listening to you guys talk about trust, I guess in my mind I was trying to say, is that really why I kept this one? But I keep kind of going back to, no, I think I'm a control freak. And I kept it because I have, kind of a fear of losing, not having control, not being able to make my own decisions and do my own things. And so, yes, I do, what they were saying about trust, what you guys were saying about trust, I do completely agree with. But I was also thinking, I feel like I kept the same fear for a completely different reason.
So in listening to all of this, Haley, do you have any thoughts on independence or trust that might be kind of underlying issues related to looking for love?
Well, I think I trust people really easily, but I am learning through classes that I might be codependent, and I was not aware of this. I never realized it. But I think it's because trust has always come really easy to me. I've always believed you trust people until they give you a reason not to trust them. And I really close knit with my family, and I think that makes me more codependent too.
You know, the bad thing, a counselor does not give advice, and we are ignoring these two online people completely. But I do want to, because time's up, and you two will be ignored today, sorry. I want to say something to Haley real quick. It's 8:04 already. The thing that I don't like about Western psychology, or psychology because it is all Western, I told you, it's all the psychotherapies and psychological theories have been researched upon and based upon the 5% of the whole world's population, okay, the Euro-American population, and that is only 5%. The rest of the world does not believe or might not believe in the word codependence. Codependence is a label. It's not a very nice label. How do you know that you are codependent? Why can't you be a collectivist kind of person, a collaborative person who has always been born and raised in an extended family and knows to rely on others, but of course everyone around you cannot be trustworthy and reliant or reliable, and they hurt you or something, and you never got to sort those things out. Like Chelsea today spoke to her dad. Maybe you can sit down and speak or role reversal or something to figure out what is causing this. Maybe it's not proper to right away give yourself a label, because the second you give yourself a label, you start living that label, and then you get stuck. You don't move forward. So that has always been my approach. Don't give yourself a label. The DSM and all those and the Western culture, our system, both in America, Europe, Australia, the Western, European, the whole Europe, it is more label oriented. Look outside of Euro-American system. They don't use labels. They look at the human. That is what existentialists did. That is what humanistic psychologists did. Use that. Don't go to, because label will result into irrational belief. And then you will have to enter another therapy session to get rid of your irrational belief. Don't jump to the label first. First figure out why. Where is it coming from? What is happening? She just suggested that because that is her experience. Addiction is codependency, yes. Love and trust is not because of codependency, not necessarily. Okay, so she just suggested one thing. You're vulnerable and you took on that one thing. Don't. Stop there. And so don't, period. Stop there, period. Analyze first. Okay? Good. Sorry. that wasn't an advice, it is an advice. As a teacher, I had to stop and I had to say, no, wait, you're being vulnerable and that's why you're putting, so you just put the label and it's a huge label. Don't do that, just stop, you're not codependent. Okay, you just kind of analyze it. Right. Very good, excellent session. You did ignore, all three of you failed.
Sorry.
You did ignore the two people here. Both Shelly and Olivia, sorry, but we are out of time. And next session, we will. They did wonderfully today, being the first session, first people, and excellent teamwork. You all, there was rhythm, there was that cohesion. Yes, cohesion, and there was this match. You knew what the other person or everyone was talking about the same thing. So excellent team. Very well done. Very good.
Can I
Good exercise. Yes.
the names of the three facilitators, please?
Jen, Stephanie, and Keisha.
And then, the gal that was talking about making decisions for herself, fear of losing her independence, who was that?
Lexi.
Okay.
Sorry, there's no eating.
I'm sorry, but it's really hard for me to
Really nice.
Why? What are
I
you
know, it's
eating?
driving me
Why are you
crazy.